And there we are. The European Team Championships are upon us in a little while. It's going to be in August, start of August, first weekend. We have 28 teams from all over the world that are going to participate in this wonderful event. And today the lists have been released. Oh, well, actually yesterday already, I think. But it's going to be held in Krakow in Poland. And, well, Team Netherlands is also going to be there. So I'm going to try to compete and get some good games in. There's plenty of lists. It's 28 teams, 8 players per team, so it's about 140 in total, I guess. I'm just gonna go through the different lists, just have a bit of a look at them, faction based, so in order. So I'll start with the beast stats, go to the demon legions, then dwarven, yes, and then continue with the rest. So beast stats, it's the army that is least featured on the ETC with only 4 lists in total. And this is the first one of the beast stats. So I haven't seen any of these lists, so it's gonna take a while probably before I give an evaluation of all the lists. But let's go. So this beast stats list, it's well, triple cyclops that you see quite often. A lot of chaff in the form of the Briar Beast and Jabberwock. Double Jabberwock is making a return, probably with Avocation Master then, yes we do. So the Jabberwock gives you an extra -1 discipline within 6 inches, and Avocation also has a -1 discipline. So it is a bit of a terror bomb. You would expect a lot of cheap terror causing units in this, which is where the Cyclops also fulfill a role. I don't know what all the items of the beast stats do, but a big beast chieftain, it's a hero level character, well, it's a BSB on a rate of chariot with Tusk Forge. This is usually quite a solid pick, yeah. Beast Lord with a hunting call, that's to help with the ambush, I think. Dark Rain helps against shooting. Centaur Chieftain with a Seed of the Dark Forest, so he can make a forest somewhere, I believe. And a Hawthorn Curse is a bolt thrower on a Centaur Chieftain. In general, it looks like a list that could do some work if you play it really well, but I think it still suffers from the fact that beast herds generally are a little bit below the power curve. But maybe this list will prove something different, so I'm quite excited to see how this one does. Then we have Daniel Weigel. I'll just include the. This is from Austria. Daniel Weigel. Subspace on the forums. I believe I met Subspace a couple of times now. Or we've been in contact at least. We played online, I believe. Anyway, so Daniel is bringing a Beast Lord as well, also with hunting calls, so the ambush helping item. Argos Affliction for extra resilience. Crown of Autocracy, Crown of Horns, so you automatically pass your Primal Fury test. Soothsayer on Avocation with Ancestral Carvings. This is basically the upgrade for the magic weapon. Beast Chieftain Greater Totem Bearer. He has a bit of a different setup, however, it is also just fine, I guess. It's mostly combat focused, whereas the other one was a bit more ranged focus as well, with Avocation, with Touch of the Reaper and Hasten the Hour. He focuses quite heavily on the wilder ones. I guess you only need 1125 points in core and beast heads, but he clearly went over there. I would say that the general attitude of people at the ETC is why would you? And at the current point of 9-age, I think I agree with that. Like, I don't know if there's any infantry or any core unit in the game that it would take more of than the minimum requirement. Yeah, maybe Empire. But yeah, I would struggle to name one. Triple Centaurs with great weapons, so it's a bit of a gimmicky list. Like, if you can handle the Centaurs, then you're gonna do well. If you don't, then, well, too bad for you. Great weapons is quite funny, I find, in beast types, because you have all the totems that give you, for example, distracting. Probably also the magic goes together with it. Like shamanism, you can get extra resilience. It's not too many defensive buffs and avocation, so I don't know what else beast types can get. But I would expect some defensive buffs if you roll units with great weapons. However, units 15 big are also going to cope quite well with taking damage themselves first. This might surprise some people. I think Subspace is just out to get a couple of nice games in, and that he will definitely manage. We have France with Thomas Meilach. For everyone, if I mispronounce your name, please, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best there. We have a Minotaur Warlord. I'm curious if this guy is going to go into the Minotaurs or if he's actually going to go into the Mongol herd, because you see that quite often now. Just to beef up that core unit, I think it's quite a decent pick to just put it in your mongrels. Druid is a master to keep possibly also the Minotaur alive, but you also have a Minotaur chieftain, so the chances are that both are going to be in this Minotaur block, elevating it to a block of 1500 points, which is quite decent. If that block survives the battle, then yeah, at least you have 1500 points that survives. Down to pair it up, we still have 29 Longhorns without a character, I guess, just with the Beast Chieftain with Destiny's Call, just to give him a stubborn on this unit. It is quite a good play to play the Banner of the Relentless with a stubborn unit, because then you can really block off a part of the field where your opponent doesn't expect it. And I think this will happen quite regularly in games from Thomas. You can put the Longhorns in such a way that it's disadvantages for your opponent, and then set up the Minotaurs for the counter charge. But it only works if your opponent cannot chaff the Minotaurs on their turn. So yeah, it has a lot of different pieces. It's less gimmicky as the previous lists, I would say. It's a bit more balanced, and yeah, I would expect it to be able to do quite decently. We have Poland. Poland took beast heads as well. We have a Minotaur Warlord with Kingslayer. Kingslayer. I discovered that Kingslayer only triggers if your unit that your character is in contact with enemy characters in base contact, which basically means that if you charge a unit in the flank, you're not gonna get that much bonus of Kingslayer at all. And it's also a reason why I switched Kingslayer from my Dragonlord to Shieldbreaker. So Minotaur Warlord with hand weapon with Kingslayer. So base he has 5 attack, strength 6 with battle focus. It's gonna go to 6 strength 7, 7 strength 8 if it really ramps up, with rerolls to it with battle focus. So that is decent. However, the 5 strength 6, I would have preferred any other weapon, because Kingslayer only triggers if you're in base contact. Then again, probably this guy is going to go into a unit of Wild Hornet. So the Wild Hornet, they basically just provide steadfast and ranks to the chieftain and the warlord, and then the characters go in, where they are quite safe. Usually, I would say that you still want some healing, maybe, because you have easy access to druidism. Apparently, Wizard Apprentice on Shamanism is more valuable. This also shows that this type of list is basically mostly tuned towards some aggressive plays, I would say. It's only one unit of mongrels, by the way. So maybe one of these is just, maybe they're just both cowboys, or one of them is a cowboy. It's, I find that Minotaurs are quite interesting to play as a cowboy. But also having the option of putting them in a unit is quite nice, I would say. So I don't know how that's going to work for Team Poland. Yeah, it's quite a balanced looking list. So in the sense that you can do anything with this list, as long as you're a really good player, you can do anything with this list, it seems. You also have quite a lot of units, right? So if you lose your Wild Horns, then you still have counter charge possibilities with the Razor Tusk, the Centaurs, the Minotaurs. It's not too bad, I think. So after the Beast Earth, we have the Demon Legions. We have 7 of those, so I think it's the second least played, but I'm not sure. We have at Murdoch with a Courtesan of Siberash, Wizardmaster on Witchcraft. That is basically the reason that you take this model, and then we have another Scourge. I have seen these two quite often together. I wonder honestly why, because it's quite a big point investment at that point. But I can get behind the thinking of, well, if you bring one of them, one big baddie, you might as well bring two. Some scoring darts of lemurs, some orders for some reliable and grinding, Succubi with a divining snout. Don't know if they're good enough without any upgrades, and I don't know if witchcraft combines well enough with them. Brazen beasts. I'm not a big fan of this list, to be honest. Just because the brazen beasts, you're gonna need something to direct their charge, basically, to make them work. Hoarders need something to make them work because they don't have the charge range, even with the divining snout. And then the Scourge and the Courtesan, they both also need quite some attention. Like if you play against double cannons Empire, this is just a horrible list for that. But that is just one example. We have Michal. I don't know. I don't know these letters. Chapa. Breaking bread. Good joke. We have a more of a Khan, Wizard Apprentice on Witchcraft with Iron Husk. I would say that this is a model that you don't see that often, but I think it's undervalued actually. But I can get behind this thought that when you play with it, it doesn't really seem to perform. But compared to the other greater demons, this is 600 points. Whereas Scourge, I marked it. Whereas Scourge is 900 points. So you're paying 2/3 of the price. Then we have a Harbinger with Digestive Vomit and Brood Mother on a Dark Pulpit, so he's gonna go into a unit of... I don't know what he's gonna go in. I really don't know. Like, you have Brood Mother twice, also on a Pulpit, so I guess just the Lemurs and the Succubi, but are they really worth it to bring back? You could also go on the Bloat Flies, but then you lose flying. That seems unattractive. So probably in the Lemurs and the Succubi for some good grindiness. The Maw is also quite a decent grinder. The Bloatflies can also be quite grindy. With the Dilators, Covered Flesh for ranged protection. Magic-wise, what do you have? You have Adept on Navigation, Apprentice on Witchcraft, and Adept on Divination, and that is it. I don't think that's enough. And not for demons. Yeah, I just don't think that's enough. So doesn't seem the most competitive list, but maybe it will surprise me. Demon Legions. We have more Demon Legions. Yes. Sweden brought Demon Legions. Sweden brought more of 980 points. So that is quite an expensive more. Merit Scales works really well against armies that have troubles hitting. Sentinel of Nicaea, Guiding Merit. Please take more merit scales because then you get a very pair independent list. So the Dark Puppet goes probably into the Lemurs. This unit is quite tanky, to be honest. This one is a Master on Thaumaturgy, Master on Navigation, strong magic there. And then you have the Lemurs. This is a combat unit, these are the scoring darts. Don't know why they're 12 though, but that might have a reason. Thrashing Engine, Legion Thrashers with a whip-crack tail, so you have lightning reflexes. That, don't know if that kind of goes against Avocation reroll to it, maybe. Well, but you don't have to take the spell then, so that makes sense. 3 orders with roots, 3 Bloat Flies, and these small combat units. I never get them to work. I don't know why, unless they are like long charging chariots, like a Thrashing Engine. But this generally I don't get that to work. But maybe that's why I don't play demons. Yeah, so a bit more. Basically, if you have stuff that handles merit scales, then this is just fine, right? Like any elves are gonna go quite well into this, especially if you have rerolls to it in some way. Don't know if this does enough damage. That's fair. But yeah, Wizard Master Avocation, Wizard Master Thaumaturgy is going to do some damage. We also have Whales. Whales also brought a Scourge. So the Scourge is equally popular as the Maw. Miser, first Miser as well. The Scourge has an adept modification, adept Thaumaturgy. I think with 3 adepts you're kind of there for demons, but a Master is also nice. But the Masters are so expensive sometimes. Though if you take a Miser, I think the upgrade to a Master is not that expensive. Once again, the merit skills. This is a character I would more likely bring than the Scourge, I think. Even though I have found that having a gigantic model that flies, that the enemy cannot chaff, is really good in aggressive play. We have the HbE with the Divining Snout. We have Memorance with Piercing Spike. I think we had looked with our team at whether Lightning Reflexes or Hatred is better, but we haven't looked at Piercing Spike. I can imagine Piercing Spike is sometimes needed in demons. Eidolons with a champion, so there's your 3rd Wizard Adept, which basically I think you want either 2 Wizard Masters or 3 Adepts in demons generally. So yeah, and a lot of small combat stuff. Hellhounds serving a dual role as chaff and a light combat unit. I prefer these guys 10 times over gargoyles. We have Gonzo from Austria, Matthias Lederilger, the most expensive model so far. So it's a Wizard Adept Tonification, Kaleidoscope Flesh for that -1 to hit with shooting, limb shield for parry, tennis skills for 5 armor, and dark hide for ambush, no, scout in your own deployment zone. So generally these, and this upgrade indicates that your opponent wants to drop. So then he is going to play quite aggressively, so just based on this one I'm going to assume that this guy wants to play aggressively. We have a Sentinel, so Wizard Master on Thaumaturgy, so once again you have a Wizard Adept and a Wizard Master, not once again though, but you have a decent magic setup, and the Succubi Mount on Slimmers. Nobody took Imp so far, right? And the stiff upper lip and stuff, the unnatural roots. I think if you play Lemurs more like a unit that you just want to throw somewhere and then see whatever they do, then you'd prefer a stiff upper lip, and if you still want them to do something, you take the unnatural roots. Because the +1 combat res also helps if you're winning. Brazen Beast with Incendiary Ichor again, then Hope Harvesters. Does this list... This is really strange to me, because you take a Scourge, so you want that guy to fight. You want him in combat as soon as possible-ish, I guess. You have Wizard Master Thoma, so you do damage, and here you do more damage. That is, yeah, sure. You have another channel for the tokens here. The Hope Harvesters are really good though. So there's a bit of duality is what I try to say here. Like the Scourge is quite aggressive, the Hope Harvesters are not aggressive. Because you just want to reckon some turns to shoot the enemy. But then again, you also mostly shoot support stuff with Hope Harvesters, I find. So yeah, maybe it's a plan B kind of option within the list of, like, well, if I don't like the matchup, I can at least still get 5 points. Then we have Czechia with Mikhail Buja, I guess. Beowulf, Harbinger setup. I think this is the first Harbinger setup we're seeing. Triple Wizard Adept. Has always worked, will always work. It's just solid for the points that you invest. Like, this is the amount of points that other people invest in a single Greater Demon. So you basically get an extra 600 points left. that you can spend on another unit of Clawed Fiends. This guy really likes Clawed Fiends, I think. So the Clawed Fiends with this magic setup, they either get reroll to hit, reroll to wound, +2 offense, defense, agility, or what else is the divination one? Reroll to hit. Get a guaranteed reroll to hit. You have a +1 to wound against large models with a reroll to wound built in. Everything is geared towards large models, it seems. So that is a risk. I would say that this is quite a pairing dependent list, but if you play against ogres, you're gonna have a good time. Menno is from the Netherlands. I know Menno. So Menno has been tinkering on his list a lot. I'm just gonna highlight what he has. I'm not gonna comment on any of the lists of our team. Boo! But I don't know if people appreciate if I talk about their list on. So we have a Sentinel of Naguya, who is a wizard monster on evocation. We have 2 Harbingers of Chaos. One is an adept on Thaumaturgy, one is an apprentice on Witchcraft with guiding merit skills. 2 blocks of unnatural root lemurs. Then we have some imps with sorcerer's antenna for that sweet extra field token. Champion, I don't know if this one can do anything. 2 Hope Harvesters with Aura of Despair, 2 Thrashing Engines, 2 Titan Slayer Chariots, and some Furies. Menno always brings Furies. No discussion. You can write any list for Menno, you will take Furies. That is it for the Demon Legions, so then we go to the Dwarven Holds. 15 Dwarven Holds. Why do we have so many Dwarven Holds? Let's go to the starting. 15 Dwarven Holds. That is a lot. Let's see if I'm still recording. I think I'm still recording, yes. So the Dwarven Holds. We have Argentina with Daniel Bonvey. I should maybe stop pronouncing these names. We have a king who's a general, shield bearers. Dwarven players, please tell me why you take shield bearers and not a war throne, because it's not that many points more, right? So, and you get an extra grudge, I believe, and you get extra wounds. Basically, it transforms your king from a thing that can be killed into something that cannot be killed, I find. Rune of Steel, Rune of Resistance, Rune of Iron, so I believe that puts you at a 2 up armor save with a reroll to wound on your character. Like if you wound him, then you have to reroll it. Maybe even a ward save. I guess a ward save, yeah. Then we have Hand Weapon, Rune of Might, Rune of Fury, Rune of Craftsmanship. So it's basically a great weapon with extra strength and 1 extra attack. So you go to 5 attack, strength 8, strength 8, I guess. It's a decent guy, 550. Downside will always be move 3, march 9. Thane, so he's going to do mostly the same. He has Runes of Lightning, he does some damage. Yeah, it's funny. Holdstone, so he's going to go into the Spear and Shield unit. The King is going to go into the King's Guard, most likely, because then they get stubborn. We have a Dragon Seeker, who probably goes into the Seekers here. We have an Anvil of Power for some magic. So basically, it's the 1 combat buff that your opponent will let you get. Then we have a very old-fashioned Dwarven list, like just blocks with some sizes to them, like 40 warriors. What? How long? Like in the Dutch meta, this has been 2 years since I've seen a block of 40 warriors, because everybody's playing MSU dwarves. Yeah, so flavorful list, I would say, just a lot of different things. I'm very curious how this will do. Good luck, Daniel, and just enjoy your games. It looks like you're gonna enjoy your games with a combat Dwarven army. Austria, Bernhard Kuttner, Bertie, with Dwarven Holds. King on a war throne. All kinds of stuff. Rune of Destruction is the multiple wound one, I guess. Thane on shield bearers. Rune of Storms against flying. Then we have also quite a lot of different units. I'm surprised by this. I think this is you take away Swift Stride or something, or people get -2 to charge on the Greybeards. It's kind of, it is a funny concept with Vanguard throwing weapons, so you just push them up within charge range. You say, well, come charge me then, and then people charge and then you get a throwing weapon shot against them, and then they realize that they can't make the charge. What? Then we have the marksman with the handguns. Guess they're okay for 300 points. 20 deep watch times 2. I played against 15 deep watch with some dark elf dread knights, and the dread knights got beaten to pulp. Like 15 of them against 5 dread knights. Grudge busters are always performing. Miners as well. Flame cannon. I'm confused by this list. I guess, well, this is against monsters, quite decent. This might be quite okay against monsters, but not necessarily. This is okay. He doesn't really have that much against. Like, flame cannons are really good against infantry and monsters infantry. Monsters, it's gonna go through this, right? I don't know. I think so. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like it looks like a fun list with just a lot of different. I wouldn't expect it in a highly competitive environment. I would expect this. Like I played against this type of list multiple times now, and it's, oh my god, it's, first of all, it's time consuming. Second of all, as an opponent, it's really not that interesting. But we also bring a list like this, and it just works. You always get like 6 points at least. So the Worm Slayer Rocket Engineer is just another cannon, basically. The Greybeards, you get them because of the throwing weapons. You could get great weapons on them so that they can actually still pack a punch. Because once the opponent arrives, it doesn't really matter if you got a shield or not. The the Clan's Marksman with the handgun. I don't know why you wouldn't get crossbows. Maybe because people are gonna come at you anyway, but at ETC I wouldn't be so sure even. Crutchbusters! Anything can shoot, basically. This can all shoot, and then this can shoot, and this can shoot, and this can... Yes, team copters, and this can shoot. So this is the standard dwarven artillery setup. Steam copters, we traded them in for Forge Wardens. And then the Vengeance Seekers to just be annoying and delay stuff. Yeah, this is just a competitive list. Marek Bernard, War Throne with Rune of Destruction, and Shield Bearers with the Rune of Kinship, so we can scout, I believe, with the Rangers. Rangers! I completely overlooked them. So scouting with the Rangers, is that funny? That is quite funny, but then I would have expected the Runes of Lightning to be on a thing that you can throw, which is not this one. Big block of Greybeards. Damn. Clan Warriors with great... What are these guys gonna do? This is this type of combat unit that I just pointed out before, like... Sometimes they're really useful if they're in a really useful position and stuff, but this is really, once again, the cute dwarven, or the cute looking dwarven setup of just... It's just nicely rounded numbers of models, which check, yeah, yes. Ah, cool. Yeah, double cannon to fend off the monsters, and there you go. Now we go to Denmark. Jacob Erbo. King on foot. It's a king on foot. He walks. He just walks. Is there any... Oh, you can get a hold stone if you walk, is that it? I don't know what the gimmick is with walking kings. Rune of Destruction again. Against toughness 5 or more you get extra stuff. This is incredibly funny against Chosen, because Chosen with Sloth, they remain Resilience 4, but they just get -1 to win, so this guy wins them on 5s. Thane with Shield Bearers. Spanner of Speed is juicy on Dwarves, to be honest. Rune of Readiness, no idea what it does. This is the setup with the Runes of Lightning. So the Rune of Returning, double Rune of Lightning. You get a throwing weapon that if it hits, inflicts an extra 2d3 strength 4 hits, which is decent. Then also with the Rune of Returning and the Rune of Craftsmanship. Is that a great weapon hit? I guess so. So you get a strength 6 hit. So it's basically like a Worm Slayer rocket, but then more expensive. Runic Smith, Rune of Denial, I can get that. We have a surprisingly small list here. We have 25 Greybeards with Banner of Speed, I guess. Clan Warriors with Spear and Shield, a single Grudge Buster. You don't see that very often. Steam Copters to still do some damage, and this starts off the board. So on the board you have starting 2 units and some Copters, and that is it. I'm surprised by this list, but maybe it will hand me my ass on a plate, as we would say in Dutch. Do we say that? Jack Austin from England. Jack brought Dragon Seekers, and not too few of them. He brought 3 of them. So if your army is good against Dragon Seekers, then you have a nice matchup, and if you don't, then you don't. Otherwise, he doesn't have a king. Is he the first not to have a king? Did the rest all have a king? King? Yeah, except for Logan. King, Ukraine, king. Did I look at Ukraine already? No. So the first do not have a king and still have a character setup. We have once again multiple units of decently sized dwarves. And then we have the Forge Warden screen. That's just basically turn 1 and 2. It's gonna shoot and then flee away and then do some more stuff. And then 3 ballistas. Where's the point in this list? Thinking the Dragon Seekers probably. He is gonna run them solo. No, he can put him in the Seekers. Okay. It's good to have the option to put him in the Seekers. Because if your opponent has 2d6 strength 5 or whatever, then these can take some damage, and then you can go ahead later for Ballista. So Pierre-Emmanuel Guillet from France. We have Agrayal's list, except for Steam Copters instead of, in addition to Grudge Busters, instead of the Forge Wardens. So yeah, it's still a debate that you can make. Are the Steam Copters better or the Forge Wardens? I think the Forge Wardens, they deal more damage at the start, but the Steam Copters are better in the long game, so they are better if your opponent doesn't have any ranged threats. Make sense? Yes. Works. This works. Paul Feuerstaker. Fireball. Germany. Germany brings a bit of a different list. This is not a gun line at all. So we have Runic Smith with Ancestral Memory. This is like a cheap character setup again. He's going for the troops, which is perfectly viable, I think. If you take the Runic Smith, Handful of Power, and mostly Kingsguard, yes. So Kingsguard are just really good for the points that they cost. Like this unit as well. So your opponent's gonna have different tiers of combat units, basically. Smaller units are not gonna kill 15 Kingsguard. They're gonna kill, I don't know, 6 of them, 7. Then you maybe place them a bit wider even. No, not really a need. But then if you have, I don't know, 8 of them left, then the front rank of 5 wide is going to do 10 attacks, 14 attacks back, high offensive defense, strength 6, strength 7 on the charge, and then you still have some magic to support them. So they're actually quite decent. So I would be more scared of this list than most people might give it due. But I like this style of list. think it's stronger than some of the other combat lists that we saw for the dwarves. Netherlands. Well, hey, that is Logan's list, isn't it? Yeah, kinda is, but then it's a bit different. We have 5 seekers. New Zealand, we have dwarves. So many dwarves. Why are there so many dwarves? Oh yeah, because it works. Thane with ancestral memory. This is the cheapest character you can have at ETC, I guess, because the previous one, engineer, is more expensive. Do we find the cheapest so far? 145, let's go, 140. Yes, so this is cheapest from Russell. This is a long list actually. So we have, it's because you have no characters. 30 greybeards with a great weapon, 10 marksmen with crossbows, great weapon, no marksmen with crossbows, seekers, rangers, miners, and an artillery train. I think this makes sense. I don't know if runecrafted is good enough. I don't think I would play runecrafted. They are accurate though, right? If they're runecrafted. So basically, you go from a out of short range. You go from a 5 up to or 6 up to a 5. No, you normally hit on 4 plus. Comes from a 5 up to a 4. So on the cover you hit twice as often, going from a 6 up to a 5 up. Maybe it's worth it. You can also put them in a safe space. How many drops does he have? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drops. That's still a lot. So I wouldn't. That's an interesting list. I think it can do quite well actually. Thing is, like on paper you bring a lot of stuff, but you don't have the support that, for example, the combat magic list had, and you don't have the guns to really go gunline. But you have 2 times 24 seekers. That can make a difference. Also because they have swift strike. I think I would have tried to change this to some shooting still, if that's allowed. But I don't know. Tim Boknecht. We have a nasty king again. Where does Tim come from? Tim comes from Scotland. He's a wizard, for anyone who gets that joke. King with ancestral memory on a war throne, so he has like 3 crutches or something. He has a big book of crutches. Thane with the BSB, with all kinds of stuff. This looks like a cute list. Like at range, he can't do anything, and he has advanced 3 on his units. Basically, the question is anyone gonna go into any of the blocks of Tim or not? If you don't, then you don't get any points, and if you do, you're gonna get your ass handed to yourself. King's card with the king. I think this is quite difficult to set up because your opponent's just gonna outmaneuver you really badly. So probably you end up sitting in the corner and then releasing objective. I'm not a big fan of this list, but that's just me. And Darko Stojanovic from Serbia. I had a colleague once and he was also a Stojanovic, so maybe they're family. Do we have a general? Yes, we do. In a runic smith with a lot of a rune of devouring, so you eat a spell. Yum, 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 yum. That can be really matchup changing. Triple Dragon Seeker again. Double Seekers with Vanguard. This is an in-your-face kind of move. More Vanguard. These guys just to hang back. It's a push list, right? It's you push forward the Slayers. You hope your opponent doesn't have a solution, and you just drink beer whilst you push your Slayers. Good fun. Switzerland, Paul Berglass, bollocks. that is once again MSU Dwarves. So this guy also has the rune of mining. What else? Great weapon, throwing weapons. Clan warriors with Vanguard. That's the reason. Our guy also used this and then realized that they don't really do that much. Yeah, decent list. This inclusion is fair. So he sacrificed a catapult and a vengeance seeker to get an extra unit of either steam copters or forge wardens, whichever is your preference. We have Turkey, Acer, Sakarya, Amra the Lion. This start looks really like MSG Dwarves, and then you have like 72 Seekers. Holy shit, 72 Seekers is a lot. So armies that can deal with Seekers, ranged armies, or non-elite armies, I would say, or armies with very high defense or distracting, because then they don't hit you. So actually Dread Elves is also quite okay at dealing with Seekers because of their auxiliaries and just the sheer killing power that they give. So if you kill 24 Seekers in one round, then you only get 12 hits back, which is 10 dead Dread Elves, which can be okay. Like if you have a unit of 20, well, what is it? 20, what did I play? 21 Obsidian Guard? So you have 21 Obsidian Guard, 7 white, so you have 21 attacks when you charge in, 22 because of the champ. You hit on 2+, you wound on 2+ because of the spell. So then you kill 18 Seekers. Then it's manageable. But then the second unit is not manageable. So that's, yeah, triple Seekers. Should have gone for 4 units. Yeah, I think it's a cool list, also mostly because the Seekers, they can handle infantry quite well as well. Mostly elites, and then cannons for the big monsters. I think this can work quite nicely. Ukraine, Andrei Baranovsky, Scotty. King on the War Throne, Rune of Destruction and stuff. Then ether icons. Why do you have ether icons? Because you're concerned about your one unit that needs magic resistance too. Which one is it though? You have so many units. Yeah, so the ether icons I don't really get. But otherwise it's one of these charismatic dwarven lists with a lot of different units, with a lot of different things, and it's nice to sculpt and whatever. And still the 2 cannons to deal with monsters. Yeah, that's decent. Do we have any more Dwarven Olds? No, we start at the start again. What comes after Dwarven Olds? I think it's Empire of Sonnstahl. 11 lists, so a bit less than the Dwarves, yet also still a solid presence. It's been 2 years since I brought the chicken list to the ETC with the 18 Knights of the Sun Griffin and a big block of knightly orders, so let's see if we had any influence on the meta by now. Like 2 years should be enough for people to paint up some chickens. The one big thing that happened in Empire the last year, I would say, is that marshals have access to repeater pistols now. So I'm curious to see how many we're going to see of those. And I think also Inquisitors became even more cheap. So that is going to be quite exciting maybe. We have a Marshal and a Horse BSB with a repeater pistol. We have a Prelate General who's only Discipline 8. The old Crown of Autocracy gave +1 Discipline. Doesn't do that anymore. So you are stuck with Discipline 8 for your entire army except for the unit of the Marshal. That is quite big. So you need Divination, or at least a Divination attribute, to give you minimized Discipline. Normally this goes quite well, but then again, if you have Banners of Discipline, Banner of Discipline, Banner of Discipline. So the Electoral Cap are gonna have to be BSB, that is quite interesting. And the Knightly Orders are gonna have to fend for themselves. They are not parent units, there's also not a single support unit in this list, so I would say it doesn't built on the parent support system, so I would say that you're missing out quite some power from the Empire, because that is strong. It's one of the reasons why I would take Empire. Knights of the Sun Griffin, one wins the lands, one's with halberds. You can see the difference in price, but it's worth it to get the lances. Repeater guns, probably because of divination, you can get a reroll to hit with your shooting, and pyromancy +1 to wound. However, 10 riders with repeater guns, the counterplay is to put a unit in front of them that can survive their one round of shooting and then charge them, because then they have to move and then they hit you on 6s. And you cannot boost that with an order. If you could boost it with an order, they would be good, but as they are in Argentina, decent. It's a funny list. I would say it's a fluffy list. Fluffy. Yannick Tidgemeyer, Germany? Australia. We have a marshal on a commanding dragon. I think that is the new name for the Empire dragon. I guess he gets an order, which is quite decent. Like an order is normally 60 points, so it's a 60-point upgrade. Marshal BSB with a shield and the rod of battle. Knight Commander Young Griffin. This is going to be a defensive build. Ghostly Guard is so. I don't know, man. I don't know about Ghostly Guard. I don't know. He can go into a unit of Knights of the Sun Griffin, can be targeted in there though. Because you need more than 3 rank and file if I'm right, but more than 5, but I'm not sure anymore. Wizard added on pyromancy, you don't see those very often. What else does he have in terms of magic? Is this it? Is this it? Not a battle. So he's gonna get flaming swords. He has an arcane engine, but that doesn't help too much. So he has flaming swords, perception of strength, fireball, cloak of cinders. He's just gonna throw all his dice at it, and then be happy with that. That's also fair. You get more stuff, but generally Empire doesn't care about all the stuff. Like, you have too much stuff anyway already. I would happily fight this list, I think. Yeah, I would. Like, most of the combat units are a bit too small to really push through somewhere. And the range damage, if you can survive the range damage, then that's just fine. Mikhail Ali, Huba. We have a marshal on a great griffin general. I played that one, and I liked it. Mostly because you have a mobile piece in Empire. So what is extremely rare in Empire is a mobile piece that has a decent advance rate for charges, that has swift stride, that actually does some damage on the charge and is not clunky like electoral cavalry. Like, they don't have any offensive chariots. They have Knights of the Sun Griffin, but they're move 7 and have a very wide footprint. So this is really unique in the army, and I would play these as well. You have a prelate on the altar of battle. Still think it's too expensive for what it does, but I've never really seen it in action. And I'm surprised that you don't see any flagellants with this then. Wizard Master Alchemy, it's a decent pick. Heavy infantry, light infantry. Yeah, this is just a decent balanced Empire list, I think. I would not play it myself, but I'm a bit surprised at the general. It's quite rare that you see a big unit of Imperial Guard and then see a general on Griffin, because usually you just tuck away the general in that unit then. This name surprises or confuses me nowadays because I have a colleague who is called Geoffroy, and it's clearly spelled Joffrey, but it's not Geoffroy. Maybe it is. I don't know. G. Vailer. We have another prelate on an altar of battle, so apparently there is some value to that. Marshal on a great grid. This is the same list. This is the exact same list. Oh my god. So yeah, maybe someone stole a list from someone else. Cause let's see, this previous list up to the dot of the heavy infantry. This is the next list. This is the complete. It's an identical list, but that is just fine. Probably one of them took the list of the other. Alexander Gruba, we Serbia, back to Serbia. So we have some wizards to get some magic in there. Double wizard add up. Do we also still have a coach? No. Could be a bit low on the channel. Talisman of the Void. There we go. Empire needs its channels generally, but it also has easy access to channels like prelate. Marshal with a repeater pistol. Hey. Marshal with a pistol, repeater pistol, marksman's pendant, so you don't suffer the -1 for standing and shooting, which I think is quite cool. The question is now, are they going to go into light infantry or are they going to go into heavy infantry? Because you can also just put all of these characters in a unit, a parent unit, give them an order, and just benefit from your pistols. This is something that I expected some more people to do. Then we have a full gun line. Then we have more of a gun line. That this even fits nowadays into guns. Wow. Double volley gun, that's why you have the double artificer, that's why you have divination and pyromancy. It's a full-on gun line. It's gonna have counters and it's gonna shoot people as well. I would have taken 3 times 15 flagellants to just go in the way. Matej Bauer from Slovenia. Wizard Monster on Cosmo, the most flexible lore in the game. With magical heirloom, so you have an extra spell. I guess you don't have any other magic, then you have a prelate. Yeah, this makes sense. Paired weapons, Kingslayer, Locket of Sonnstahl. On a horse. That is fine. I think you want the unit to go into knightly orders. Yeah, Knight Commander General. So he basically plays the knightly order block. This guy I would not play in there, so that's why I have the writers. BSB, I guess you don't put him on the horse, so you can put him in the unit of heavy infantry and countercharge. That makes sense. So my previous list, I would support this break with chickens because I thought that they performed better than Imperial Guard and the Steam Tank. But yeah, otherwise it's a solid list. It can do quite well. Yeah. Don't know about the Cosmo lore. Yeah, I think it fits. I think it's a good list. It's a good list. Matthias Gavlin from Sweden. Wizard, Master on Divination, Wizard Apprentice on Pyromancy with the Book of Arcane Mastery. So we have a decent magic setup. We have a list of different marshals. People don't usually take more than the general BSB marshal that they need. But here we have one example of an Inquisitor with repeater pistol, silver shots, marshal with repeater pistol, and rune pistol. So the silver shots actually gives you quite cool. It gives you reroll to wound for your shooting, and your multiple wounds also count for your shooting as well as lethal strike. So basically, you have 3 shots that hit on a 3+. That if you have accurate, that you give to the unit that the guy's in, you still in on a 3+, even after you've moved, even at long range. So you kind of have a guaranteed 2 shots that hit, and then most monsters you're gonna wound on a 5 with resilience 5. If you have to roll 6s, it's also fine, because then every 6 is D3 wounds with lethal. So basically, it's a mini cannon, and I really like this guy for that reason. I would give him the Hammer of Witches, because then you go to 5 attacks instead of 2 attacks. But that's just me. So we have a bit of a pistol squad there. It's something that I would have expected in more lists. Otherwise, I think maybe just This shooting, this? No. The light infantry is cheaper in terms of range damage output, and that is why people don't take the marshals as much. Big block of Imperial Guard. That's gonna stay steadfast quite long because you chuck in all the characters. Don't think it's a really good list, to be honest. Mostly because people can just put pressure on you everywhere because you don't have any threat range. So you have the Knights of the Sun Griffin. So people can if we face off, what I promise to do is I just rush forward with everything I have. The Knights of the Sun Griffin can choose one unit to charge, and I'll go through with the rest. And then we'll see what happens. And then the cannon only has one turn to shoot, realistically. Who's the next? Sylvain from Switzerland, otherwise known as Coco Freeze. We have a Marshal and a Great Griffin, which I totally get. We have a General Imperial Seal, so we also have... No, we don't have any Imperial Guard. BSB, Crown of the Wizard King, Wizard Master on Divination, Wizard Apprentice on Alchemy with Arcane Engine. I had expected multiple times the Book of Arcane Mastery Wizard Apprentice combination, because it's basically you get an adept, but then for 45 points less, but you don't get the channel. Some lists really don't care. Heavy infantry, this is the cheeky thing that I also used to do in Empire. So you have a heavy infantry unit of 21, because then it's a parent unit, and then you have support units. State militia, I still don't get in these unit sizes. Maybe it's just because it's not worth it for your opponent to chase them, but they don't do that much either in these sizes. 6 Knights of the Sun Griffin, 6 Knights of the Sun Griffin, both with a halberd. I don't get this list at all. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So, this guy I get. This guy I kinda get, but I would have given him some protection. Otherwise he's just gonna run around in a unit of state militia. Then you might as well have taken a different unit, different character. Marshal, BSB, Crown of the Wizard King, yeah, that I get. Yes, that makes sense. This even makes sense. This doesn't make sense. It's 600 points. How are these units so expensive? 50 guys. Why? So state militia start out at 140 points, and there's 6 points per guy. So it's way better value to just run 3 units of 24, because that is the same amount of points, more or less. I don't get it. And then this with Albert, I don't get this list. But maybe it will be the top performer, you don't know. USA! I think it's the first USA that we see, no? Piotr has a Braylite with the Altar of Battle, Ghostly Guard like of Summer, a bit better protected than previous Altars of Battle we saw. Inquisitor, yay, cool guy, cowboy. Then we have the Knight Commander, he's gonna be in a unit of knightly orders. He also has a Marshal, not on a horse. But the horse is quite expensive for the Marshal, that is fair. Wizard, Pyromancy, okay, Master. So magic wise, you have this guy, you have this guy. That's it. Okay. Knightly orders times 2 cavalry pick makes sense, but then you want a combat buff to help them wound, I would say. Also a battle reroll to wound, yeah. Or +1 to wound from Pyromancer. So you do have the combat buff, kinda. You don't need AP, so yeah. Heavy infantry support unit, yeah, that makes sense, because then you can countercharge and build guard great weapons. They're quite cheap for 24 guys, to be honest. Cannon Bodyguns Team Tank. It's not too bad. Good work. Don't really see the selling point, but it could work. Polygons without an engineer are totally rubbish though. They need that +1 to it. Elliot, of course. Elliot. Hey, this is something I recognize. So we have magic on horses, we have a knight command on a horse, prelate on a horse, marshal on a horse, we have big units of knightly orders, we have knights of the sun griffin, and that's it. He took chaff. Don't have to, mate. Don't have to. Did this list get more expensive then? What happened here? So it's a shame that you don't make use of the support rules of the Empire. Where did he put the points for the third unit of Knights of the Sun Griffin? HbE, yeah. Prelate. Crystal Ball. How much you want Crystal Ball? You can just get 8 dragons if you wanted to. Which one? Wizard Master. Yeah. Yeah, if you want a Wizard Master, you should roll with it. But I don't think it's gonna make the biggest difference. Argentina again, so that's the start. Yes, okay. Well, that was fun. Looking at the Empire. What is next, actually? So, did I skip anything? Skip Dreadhouse. How did I skip Dreadhouse? Oh my god, how did I skip Dreadhouse? Out of all my books. Okay. So let's reiterate. Dread Elves! Argentina again. So Dread Elves. Dread Elves have been through a lot the last year. I mean, to me it feels like Dread Elves have been through a lot. But that's mostly because our Dread Elf player has been through a lot. Trying to optimize his list. So yeah, what do we have here? We have a Warlock Outcast, Wizard Master on Cosmology. Cosmology is a solid lore, but not the best one. Beastmaster General on Manticore with Extraordinary Specimen. Take a dragon, mate. If you want to do that, take a dragon. But maybe it doesn't fit with your 2 Krakens and your Manticore. Sure, but then put your Beastmaster on a Raptor, because it will still work if you're on a Raptor. It's just sure. That is what I would do at least. Because you save points on the Beastmaster. This thing doesn't do that much either. Like, lands with Shieldbreaker. You have 3 attacks? Or do you have 4 attacks? I think you have 4 attacks. Sure, but this is not gonna go through yet. Temple Exarch with Div. Mastery of Slaughter is a decent thing. I would always take the Book of Arcane Mastery with this one, because it's really cheap to just get the extra spell. Mastery Slaughter is cool, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference if you have geared up your Temple Militants correctly with Alchemy, with Glory of Gold, and with Avocation and Spectral Blades, because that is your one problem. They chew through anything else. Selection Spears, don't know about this unit. It's your 3rd scoring unit. Takes just some auxiliaries. Just take off some points somewhere, even from your other sections, and just take some auxiliaries. Take 3 militants less. Take auxiliaries. Shadowriders, Lightlands. Basically, the list building I don't agree with, but in the end, the end list is quite okay. Like, double Kraken setup with some Thunderpack and the Beastmaster with the Beastmaster's Whistle, that is decent. But you need some range damage to trigger Sand of Blood from the Thunderpack. Don't need the Gorgons. I have played around with Dreadhouse too much. Check, yeah. So, Warlock Outcast with Master Avocation. This works really well with Dreadhouse because of the -2 to dispel for your opponent, so you can force through your snipes more easily. So that means that you only need one caster, one wizard master on navigation to force through snipes, because you start with Touch of the Reaper on or Hasten the Hour, one of them. Preferably Hasten the Hour, because then people are like, oh, I will stop Touch of the Reaper, and then you get it because you'd spent half of your dice on Hasten the Hour. Then you throw 4 dice on Touch of the Reaper, and then your opponent has to dispel it with the rest of his dice, sure, but it's 4 dice with a +1 and a -1, -2 to dispel for your opponent against most cases 5 dice for your opponent. That evens out quite decently. So it's like a 50-50 whether you make it. It's not guaranteed at all that you don't. So you can force it through quite often. Temple Exarch, he's the general on Alchemy, Temple Exarch on Alchemy, so he's gonna have Quicksilver Lash or the Hereditary, because that is still an option. I don't like the Hereditary, but that's just me. Here we are, Alchemy again, so you will get Glory of Gold for sure, probably, and Silver Spark, because Word of Iron is not really worth it in Dread Elves. Temple Meltons makes sense. Judicators like Cadrons, the only reason why you would play Judicators is Cadron Spamming, because they get so much from Sand of Blood being fearless in combat. That is a real big thing for this unit. And Swift Strike, 705 points there. But yeah, I mean, if you already invest 24, then you should go to full 30. That is fair. If people catch you out in the open, though, then your unit is gone. Triple Raptor Chariot, this is the most solid choice in the book, I guess, except for the Hunting Chariot. So that is why I always end up with double Hunting Chariot, double Raptor Chariot. 2 Krakens, only play these things if you have a Beastmaster, otherwise don't. Craig Johnson, new Rocky with the Harpies, I suppose, yay! Yes, the Harpies. So he's been playing on the forum with Harpies for a long time, and I'm really happy that he brought him, because I would be delighted to play this guy. I really want it to happen. If we play against England, then I want the dibs on the Dreadnoughts, just to have an amazing game. Because we can just talk about we can just fill in the 10-10. I'm fine with that, and we can just talk about Dread Elves all day. Okay, so Wizard Master Avocation for the extra movement, with Elemental Witchcraft for the extra movement. This is the piece that I was talking about, the Beastmaster on the Raptor with the Ring of Obsidian Trent. So yeah, this is a solid base. Basically, you don't have to change anything on this. Triple Hydra with maximized Stomp, double Hunting Chariot to take away Swift Stride, so that your Harpies can go closer. Witchcraft for minus on the advance of your opponents. This makes sense. If I were to optimize Harpies, I would play this list. Yes, I would. No, Germany. Jan Heimann. Gwydion. Warlock Outcast on Cosmo. Stop taking Cosmo, people. I think I take Cosmo in the end a lot. I had Cosmo as an adept. Truth of Time is amazing. And Perception is always good, but the rest, not really worth it. Temple, here we go. People learned. This is good. This is good as well. So this is something that our Dutch player should have taken. And this as well. So this is an upgrade over our list. Yeah, it's a solid list. Can't really say too much more about it. If you want to play Triple Hydra, I don't know how good they are currently, because I don't really know how much flaming there is. Like, to me, it feels risky because the only viable combat banner that you have is the flaming standard, and it does help against certain matchups like this one. Then again, if your Hydra goes on the corner of something, then it's okay. Dread Knights I'll never be a fan of. But yeah, I would have changed the Dread Knights up for something else, and then otherwise you're quite good to go. You know, put Cadron's banner on this one. If you have only one you have to take Cadron's. That's my evaluation after a long time. Netherlands, Edwin de Vries. This is our list. We went for Dread Knights and Hydras. Sure. Norway. Then I think sure is maybe the correct pronunciation. Beastmaster and a dragon. Cool. With the Beastmaster's whistle. Yeah, cool. I like the dragon in Dread Elves. That's fly 7, 14, yes, and the blood. And I think +1 advance extra, so it goes to advance 9 or something against wounded stuff. So I would be quite tempted to play Witchcraft, or at least play Cosmo Truth of Time next to it, just to really push it. But then you also have rerolls anyway. Selection officers on Manticores, cool. This is quite an aggro list. Triple Thunderpack. I prefer Thunderpack in units of 4 though, but you will combo charge anyway. I wonder if the front of enemy units is big enough for you, because still going on the flanks is not that easy, I guess. Even though the Thunderpack, they can also just march 12 to the flanks, obviously. If you get charged, you're in big trouble. If you charge, it's okay. This one still can act as a roadblock. No magic. I'm happy no magic is a viable option. So you have your first turn chaff, you have your covering fire and scoring, and then you have the combat stuff. So it's probably, if you play it out well, it works quite okay. Works quite okay, and it's still quite resilient for a Dread Elf list. Miguel, Dread Prince, Silver Republic. I stepped off the Dread Prince on foot because it goes in a unit, and then the unit gets shot, and then the Dread Prince gets shot, and then he dies. Because basically you're like Obsidian Guard, 22 guys, 502 points, decent price. You put in the Dread Prince, they go to 900 points. Whereas they fight already decently enough themselves. You don't need the Dread Prince. That's don't need it for the Dread Prince. Temple Exarch, Mastery of Slaughtery, Book for Game Mastery. Yeah, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about. He's kind of stuck to his charge ranges because he doesn't have Witchcraft or Truth of Time. He does take away Swift Stride, but it's not enough to just take away Swift Stride, and he doesn't have Cadron's Pennon, so he doesn't get to dictate where fights are going to happen, so he's going to lose a couple of times at least. Probably, I guess. But then again, it's Team Spain, so maybe they know what they're doing better than me. Axel Andersen. Also Dread Elves. What a surprise. There's more Dread Elves this year than any other year so far, so I'm quite excited by that. We have a Temple Exarch General on Divination. I've never really played with Temple Exarchs as generals, because I'm always tempted by other stuff. Like, why would you take a Temple Exarch General? Because you want the battle focus? Maybe. He's a bit expensive for that, I think. Also, Temple Exarch BSB with a Book of Arcane Mastery, so cheap magic setup, cheapish, because you still pay points for the combat character aspect. Selection Spears, never really bothered with the Executioner icon myself, because I tend to gravitate towards one round of combat with Dread Elves. And then Amazu, yeah, these I like. Generally, this goes wrong at some point in Dread Elves. Like, every single game. That is the general rule for if you play Dread Elves. Every single game, something somewhere goes wrong. That's the rule, in my experience. And then it's not about trying to prevent it, it's just about how you can deal with that. How you can deal with a rerollable discipline 9 that just goes wrong and you just lose a unit of judicators in the most important spot that you could possibly imagine. It happens. You have so many different units. You have like 15 units here. Something goes wrong somewhere. Or you have a pressure point where you really have to get a unit to survive and then your opponent just shoots away the 10 obsidian card that you have there. So that is why, in my experience, Stratos doesn't work in MSU. But that might be due to me. Neil Hamilton from the US has Warlock, Outcast, Wizmaster, Witchcraft. Wizmaster Witchcraft is really, really cool. I don't think it does enough on the board. Like it can give something random move, which is a double-edged sword. It can give reroll to wound for shooting, or hit for reroll to wound for shooting, I think, which is not enough. Because you don't have to range shooting. Like if you had Witchcraft Master in highborn elves, then everybody would take it for the reroll on the shooting. Because you have in core, you already have the possibility of deploying 70 longbows with accurate, so that is worth it. But in red elves, it's not worth it. Divination, selection officer BSB. What? It's quite only goes in there. So you have magic resistance on the adjudicators, sure. Yeah, sure. Dread Prince on foot, would not play that. Beast Breakers. I like Beast Breakers. But he doesn't have the monsters to go with that to really take advantage of that. Beast Breakers with hunting chariots is quite fun though, because you get chariots with advanced 10, and then with Witchcraft you can go up to 12. So you have a chariot with advanced 12. That's the highest I think you can get in the game. No, it's 14 actually, because you can also still stack Cosmo through with time on top. And you could... No, you cannot get a BSB in that. I think the highest you can go. Can you get Swift, Sand of Blood, and the Banner of Speed on the same unit? With 9? No. That's it. I don't know. Juan. Argentina. Juan. That is the start again, actually. So, yeah, that was Red Elves. 9 lists, I believe. 9 lists, that is way more. That's like triple as much as the previous time. Let's go to the other ones. Highborn Elves. Highborn Elves. 21 Highborn Elves. Highborn Elves is such a solid army compared to Dread Elves. It's insane. That's also why people bring it. It's just solid. This, by the way, is nearly the standard list. No, this is not the standard list. This is the standard highborn high prince that you will see though. Its only weakness really is getting a low overrun and then being flank charged by something that he definitely can't handle. Flank charges anyway on this guy is because he gets the lance bonus only to the front. Commander, Master of Combat Tower, not the extra spells though, but he does have the magical item. Mage, Wizard, Adept, and Cosmo. I find Highborn Elves so boring sometimes. You have some archers and some big block of swordmasters. Oh wow, you took that one. I think I would expect to see more Sky Sloops this year. I don't really know why, but I have a feeling that there's going to be more Sky Sloops. Like, mobile shooting is really valuable, and I think people have started to realize that a bit more. Like the triple C card Reaper is what you would usually see, but I would prefer 100% triple Sky Sloop if you could, because C card Reapers, they are more vulnerable for one. Um, I think they have less armor, right? Sky Sloops 4 of armor, no? But yeah, the C card Reapers just being immobile, people can just hide from it, and the Sky Sloops, in worst case, they can still charge out and support you on this one. Nico from Belgium! Mage, Wizard Master from Alchemy, which is a solid pick, which not many highborn elf players take, but Alchemy is a really good lore. I would expect some more flaming attacks throughout the list, just to make better use of the Alchemy attribute. Come on the Sky Sloop, hey, there we go, come on the Sky Sloop, hey, there we go. I don't know how vulnerable these guys are to shooting themselves or like bolt throwers, but that is quite exciting still. However, you can just position them in a place where they can get some cover themselves. I think the only thing he currently has, at least, is the phoenixes that he can hide behind. But that does make sense to include those at least. So you have some range damage here. You have basically it's all dictated by archers getting accurate, I guess. Because then you go to a unit that is really decent for a core unit to just have an odd 60 shots. It's like 30 hits at strength 3 every single round. So some matchups become impossible, like Treadles. Treadles is impossible against this. Sky Sloops and the Longbow, this one, then just gives some higher quality shooting. And these are just by then enough. It's a good list. It's a good list. It's a solid list. I think people are gonna misjudge what this does. Czechia, Tobias, we have. Oh my god, such an archers. Who would have thought that would be so popular? We have a commander on a griffin. Commander on a griffin. Still with the diadem of protection. I think he wanted to spend just like 200 points less to get the cheaper version, which is fair, but it also does less. Master of the Can Right, he's really cheap with his characters, isn't he? He doesn't have any equipment. With Master Alchemy, shooting, basically, quite decent. More shooting with the C cards. So I think Nico's list is better, but this is same gist. Denmark, Malta. He has the High Prince on foot with the Spear, the Sliver of the Blazing Dawn, and the Master of the Canray Tower. Used to be a very, very popular character when it was 550 points. Now it's a bit more expensive, rightly so. Commander on a Griffin, so basically this is also the cheaper version. Then we have a Commander on a Reaver Chariot, that is unique though. You don't see these generally if they don't have a 1-up rerollable armor save. This arm has a 5-up, 4-up, 3-up armor save, which I would say is not enough for a model on a Resilience 4 Chariot. I don't understand this choice, but that might be due to me. It's also a piece maybe that people overlook, like they don't focus on it too much. It's like a counter charge piece, then does make kind of sense. Double Frost Phoenix. I think the Frost Phoenix is the better out of the two, but I do get why you would go 1-1. Shooting, shooting, shooting. Shooting, shooting. A lot of gun lines. Not a gun line. England, Mark Greensill. With highborn elves. We have High Prince on an Ancient Dragon. Great Weapon Kingslayer, which has the big problem that I experience on my dragon, that you don't really get that much from it that often. Commander on a regal dragon, because, well, if you have an ancient dragon, you might as well run a second one. It is hardwood. I don't get on the dragon because you want to just march and it doesn't have march and shoot, right? Does he want to hold back with his dragon? I don't get this list. Mage with Cosmo, that is fine. He has to be mounted. He doesn't have to be mounted. Why is he mounted? Because he doesn't have a unit to hide in otherwise, I guess. Twice the archers, yeah, sure. 30 sword masters. Why do you take these? I'm confused by this list. Like this wants to get in combat, this doesn't. Is that my only picking? Ancient Dragon, Commander. Why is this guy so expensive? Yeah, dragon, sure. I would take something that is faster, like Dragon Princess. But then probably you end up with the problem that you cannot get through Steadfast. But then you have 2 dragons. Just shut up. I don't value these guys in this list. No. Vika! Not from France, I guess. Finland. Hi Prince! Oh my god, it's the same build as the one. We only saw it once before, so it's not even that bad. Commander with the Alis Hardwood. Alis Hardwood is apparently too good. It's gonna get nerfed. Commander on the Giant Eagle. I like these guys, but they are generally not tough enough. They're a bit too squishy, which is why I take Dragon Forged armor with Ghostly Card, but even then. Mage with Pyromancy. Is that the only magic? Oh wow. Is that the only? No, we have the Master of the Canberra Tower, okay. Then Citizen Archer Corps. This is all the same list, isn't it? This is all the same list. Oh my god, Citizen Archers everywhere. Some Sea Guard, oh my god. Fine, hey, Double Phoenix, hey, Triple Reaper, oh my god, another High Prince on a mount. No, not on the mount this time. There's like 2 variations of the High Prince. Now this is Follow Furion actually, so he's the guy who always thinks about his list. He does have Lion Guard, so that's quite unique now, but he probably with this guy in there. Still a decent break. Decent break. He went for the budget option. Yeah. Yeah, it's also not too bad. I believe he really values his steady output of the Sea Guard Reapers, because he had them last year as well. Wilhelm Gerofte from Ireland. High Prince with the Master of the Canberra Tower. In Flame Wardens this time, or in Line Guard, who knows. Commander on a horse. Last year that was really funny. There was like a search of commanders on Elven horse with Dusk Forged. Apparently it didn't really work out as well, or it didn't really fit into the Citizen Archer meta. 12 highborn lances. Seems a bit more on the fluff type side, but then still double Sky Sloop to Phoenixes. Still the same list. 21 highborn elf lists and they're all the same. Oh my god. High Prince, Master of the Canberra Tower. In a unit of Flying Guard. Because then he gets Bodyguard. Commander on a Sky Sloop. There we go, Commander on a Sky Sloop. Yeah. Yeah. Commander on an Eagle. With Dusk Forged. Yeah, that is an interesting one. Because even then, against magical attacks, you still have a 5-up, 4-up rerollable? That sucks. Because a Giant Eagle doesn't get +1, does it? Maybe it does. 3-up rerollable is okay. 4-up, yeah. Citizen Archers. Everybody takes the Archers. Everybody takes the phoenixes. Might they be too good? Maybe. 18-inch fly move is just too good. Yeah, 18-inch fly move is just too good. Max. Solid Max from Latvia. High Prince, Diadem of Protection. High Prince. He took both. Cheeky guy. No BSB, but, well, I mean, highborn elves doesn't need a BSB, right? Especially if you take the Fleet Officer upgrade on your High Prince, which you could have. Mage on Pyromancy, full sets and archers. Double Phoenix, triple Reaper. Cheerio, let's see. Skyslips. Is this Italy? No, Luxembourg. We no, we didn't have it. Yeah, we did. High Prince with the hardwood on the High Prince, and then Master of Canary Tower. Commanders on Skyslips. He does have the Fleet Officer twice for the minimized discipline, so you don't need the Battle Standard Bear. You don't need the Battle Standard Bear. Duskforged Ghostly Guard. Apparently that made it to Luxembourg as well. Sits in Archers, double Phoenix. No, yeah, you do have the double Skyslips, so you don't have the Skyslips in special, you don't have the Reapers in special because you have these guys. They hit better, I believe. Lion Guard for the High Prince. Well, it's the cheapest option to have a unit for your High Prince. Reinier, our Team Netherlands. Jeez. We have a commander on a dragon, we have a High Prince on a Griffin. Oh my god, it's the same setup. Oh my god, how is that possible? We have a mage with Essence of Mithril. That's still... You have to play him in the backfield now. Hey, Archer Core. Hey, Double Phoenix. Oh my god, we do the same as every other nation. Gasper. High Prince. I feel like I should stop with this at some point, because this was New Zealand. Okay, New Zealand. Gasper. So he has the Elven Ore still. Wow, this is so 2023. No, but you have like an entire active forum of high elves. That's, I believe it's the most active forum on the forum of Ninth Age, and you didn't even tell this guy that this was so 2023. I don't know why though. It might still be a good piece. Don't be offended, Casper. But everybody else skipped the bandwagon, or went on the bandwagon. How that works. Archers, Lancers, double Phoenix, double Skysloop. It's the first Lion Chariot in like 15 lists or something. Are Lion Chariots no good anymore? They are. There we go. Poland is bringing Lion Chariots. Poland is bringing Lion Chariots, you guys. White Shark. I played against this guy and got really angry at some point. High Prince with the Master of the Canary Tower. Commander with the 1-up reroll 1. 2 highborn elves get to 1-up. 5-up, 4-up, 3-up. 2-up, 1-up, 2-up, 1-up. Archers. He does take the big Lancer unit. Might be something there. Double Phoenix, and then double Skysloop. Double Line Chariot. The Line Chariots are interesting here, yeah? Because nobody else takes them. That's why they're interesting. We have Serbia. Mage, who is the general, so that's a first. Highborn elf mages that still get discipline 9 for the army. Oh my god. Commander, Master of the Canary Tower. Don't need that if you already have a Master Mage, I guess, apparently. Citizen Spears, yes, let's go. We have Citizen Spears, we have triple Sword Masters, double Phoenix, double Eagle. I like this, because this is something different from all the other lists that we have seen so far. Then we have Spain. Spain has the High Prince, who is a Royal Huntsman. He's on foot. That is quite unique. So you have to... Wait, how does this work again? We have the High Prince with the spear with the sliver of the Blazing Dawn, who is a Royal Huntsman. The Royal Huntsman gives you a bonus if you are carrying a great weapon. Is that not true? So let's see what Royal Huntsman does again. Royal Huntsman. Yeah. You get Alliance Fur, you get a Model's unit gains Valiant. So that is it, but it is free compared to any of the others. So basically he didn't want to pay for anything and he just got Royal Huntsman, I guess. Yeah. It's for 460. Basically it's the same argument as with the Dread Elf Princes, I find. Like, you're gonna be stuck in a unit and you triple the value of the unit. Like if you go into the Line Guard, it's insane. But the list is really different from the rest. He still has the Helios Outwards, he still has the Master of Canary Tower, he still has the Core Shooting, but he has Swordmasters and Double Sky Slope. Never mind, it's not that much different. It's a bit different. Is it better though? Well, like the Highborn Elf game generally is to keep your enemy away from you by having very long threat ranges, and then the first 3 turns do some range damage, and then have your opponent come to you and then slowly kill him off. The next Highborn Elf list is going to be the one from Allalup. He is from Team Sweden. Sweden we have in the house. So he has a Mage General. I think this is one of the few Mage Generals that we've seen. Still with the Discipline 9 because of the Highborn Elf Mage. Commander, Master of the Canary Tower. So this one is quite light on characters. Then we have the we actually have a big block, quite a big block of spears. Some archers still, and then wow, with 33 Knights of Rima. They have a lot of power on the charge. He does have 2 pieces of chaff and 2 units of Grey Watchers, but I think that generally this is a list that works quite decently if you play people that are not as good in the game or as practiced in the game, because, well, then this really becomes an issue. But most players at ETC, I think, will have a way to deal with this. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to go, but I wouldn't say he's going to score the most points. Then we have Andy Geiser from Switzerland, and he has the commander on the Griffin with the diadem of protection, so he has a cheap Griffin, High Prince with Master of the Canary Tower, and then probably he has a bit more magic than just this. Yeah, the Mage Adept on Pyromancy. Sets an Archer Core, Scoring Dart, Double Phoenix, Triple Seaguard Reaper. He does have the 2 units of Line Guard though. So yeah, that's something different from the rest. Is it better? This one is a bit more of a passive list. Like you can trade the 1 unit of Line Guard basically to upgrade this guy to a High Prince. Defense wise it's the same, offense wise the Prince is stronger. But yeah, it is a question of, well, do you really need to spend the extra 200 points on your guy to become a Prince? I guess against characters it makes a difference, against units maybe not so much, so it's really a question of what you include the model for in your army. Oskan Kukner, Red Highborn Elves, High Prince on the Ancient Dragon, so we saw that one before. I don't remember exactly the loadout that the previous one had. But this one has EoS art, which I think is quite decent, because you will end up with your High Prince being charged by an enemy anyway, at some point, probably, if you put it in the middle of the field. Cosmo Magic. Cosmo is quite popular with Highborn Elves. Commander. So does he have? He also has an initiate to back up the magic a little bit. Commander on the Giant Eagle, you don't see that one that often, but we saw it before already with the Dragon Forged Armor, Ghostly Guard, and even Dusk Forged. Highborn Lancer Core, so that is interesting, because I don't know if these units really stack up to their points, and that is also why most people just play the Citizen Archers. It's also like in a team setting, citizen archers, they bring so much by just ruling out like at least 25% of the bearings as and turning them into good ones. So that makes a difference. Whereas the highborn lancers, I feel they don't really. Then we have the fire phoenix double. I think this one is a bit less ideal than the others. Also, Queen's Guard. With citizen archer core being so good, I don't think you want to spend the point on your Queen's Guard. Like, you can basically turn this around, make your core archers, and then your special Knights of Rhino. I think that's better. Ben Mitchell from the US of A. High Prince with the Sliver of the Blazing Dawn and Master of the Canary Tower. Commander on a Griffin with the Diadem of Protection. This one's new. Commander Longbow, Queen's Companion, I guess. He gets shots equal to the amount of attacks he has. And his unit gets quick to fire, is that it? 26 archers. Then it makes sense to put a guy in there that makes it quick to fire. However, it does nearly double the price of your unit. I don't know if that's worth it. Just for +1 to it, if I'm right. And then we have the Mage on Permanency to get Flaming Swords up. Do we have more magic? We have not. Wait, the High Prince, obviously. Then the Archers, full Archer Core, Lion Guard, where the High Prince goes. 1 Phoenix, 2 Sky Slips, 2 Lion Chariots. And like, for 200 points, Lion Chariots aren't even that bad. However, seeing all these lists and seeing that everybody just takes something else, I think maybe it's also the fact that highborn elves tends to be a bit defensive oriented. That a resilience 4 wound chariot doesn't survive 6 turns generally. Like, you have pieces that you want to protect, right? Like the High Prince goes into the unit, that's fine. The Commander on the Griffin is going to need a place to stand to just not be targetable by bolt throwers and the like. This guy's in a unit. You still want to protect your Phoenix maybe a little bit, your Sky Slips. So at that point, Lion Chariots are going to be in the open and they are going to be targeted because there's not going to be enough space to protect everything. So they will get shot probably, but it's then about the value that they give you whilst they can zone. David Kodesh, I guess, from Argentina. It's the first one again, so we have already seen this one. Ancient Dragon, great weapon it was. Okay, so that's the highborn elves. With that, I'm gonna finish this video, and then, yeah, next video we'll start up with the Infernal Dwarves. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next time.